and select any element. So yeah, it's here. I don't like this. I really don't like this. But all new Revit 2026 has just been released. This video will cover all of the most important new features like wall updates, Toposolid updates, rebar and steel updates, and much more. Let's go. Along with this Revit update, we are updating our courses on balkanarchitect.com to cover all of the new Revit 2026 tools and features. Also, if you haven't heard the good news, Balkan Architect is now officially an authorized Autodesk training center. And our first certified group is starting their course today. This is a 2-month Autodesk authorized course with a small group that includes live sessions, Revit software, and much more. We have sold out 25 spots for this group in just 6 days. Don't worry if you've missed your chance, new dates are coming soon. Click on the link up in the cards above or down in the description of the video to reserve your spot, or if the new group is not available at the moment, just leave us your email and we'll email you as soon as we start the sale for the next group. Spots fill up fast, so don't wait, sign up now. With Revit 2026, we have many new options for walls. Revit will now support workflows where you model a single wall as multiple joined walls. Then we will move into the updates to the Toposolids. We can now finally copy points, and subregions have also had a major improvement. After this, we will talk about documentation, where we have many new improvements. Structure has updates for rebar in terms of rebar cranking, and for steel, we now have connection updates. Finally, for graphics, many things have been moved around, but don't worry, so you don't get lost, we'll cover all of these. But before moving into Revit, let's take a moment to talk about our friends and sponsors of today's video, Undead Point Cloud software. If you have been following us, you've probably already seen the Undead for Revit, a point cloud for Revit that boosts efficiency and reduces manual work when converting point cloud data into precise Revit 3D models. But today, we've got even more exciting news. The Undead team now offers a brand new service transforming your point cloud data into 3D models or 2D drawings. And they stand by their motto, your scan, our expertise. Based in Europe, ISO certified, and with years of experience in developing specialized point cloud software, Undead Point Cloud team excels at producing 2D, 3D, and BIM deliverables from 3D laser scan data. But what truly sets them apart is their unwavering commitment to quality control and assurance. As the Undead team likes to say with a smile, we even train our customers so they know how to verify scan to BIM projects. Accurate, reliable deliverables are always guaranteed. Even the best sometimes needs help. If you're looking for a trusted partner for your scan to BIM projects, reach out to Undead Point Cloud software. Links are in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit 2026. Let's get started with walls. There have been a lot of improvements when it comes to using compound walls in Revit. So what are compound walls? This is something that a lot of companies do, where they model compound walls. So they have multiple walls to illustrate multiple layers instead of having a single wall with multiple layers. This is really good in situations where you want to separate the structural layers as a single wall and then all of the finish layers as an additional wall. Now, this is how those improvements look like. So when you go to the wall tool, here I have created this generic finish wall type. Now, if I go into edit type, what you'll notice here is if I go to structure and click on edit, if I select this finish, I can go and move it up outside of the core boundary, and Revit is actually going to allow me to have only a single layer or multiple layers outside of the core boundary with having the core boundary empty. Before this, the Revit would give me all sorts of errors. Right now, with this new upgrade, it's not going to give me any errors, and it's going to allow me to use this. Also, something that you may notice is that we have priority as an additional row here. So priority was connected with the function, so you would see the priority number here in front of the function elements. Now priority is a separate drop menu here. It goes from 1 up to 5. So basically which priority each layer is, you can assign that, and that's going to tell Revit how to connect different walls at wall joins. So here I've just moved this to the finish outside of the core boundary. Click OK. No errors, hit apply, OK, and now it's time to place that wall. Previously, in the previous version, we got these join tools. Now we have the placement tools as well. So this is again for those compound walls where you might want to place a wall up against another wall, so to create that compound wall. Here we're just adding a finish to this wall, so I can go here to place by segment, and then as I come close to this wall, it's going to highlight that, and then I can click and place a wall there. This is a column. I can place a wall at the column as well. And also you can have auto join and lock, or just auto join turned on in order to join and lock these walls. Now I'm just going to go back a couple of steps. Another option is place by room. So that's going to recognize an entire room. You don't have to actually have a room placed. It's just going to use the same, I guess, algorithm to figure out the room. And if you have a column, you might want to include that column. You might not want to. So you can use the tab key to toggle, does it include the column, does it not include the column. In this case, let's include it. Click to place, and as you can see, now we have added this additional wall simply as another layer to the original wall, and it was super easy. Moving on to Toposolids, we have a lot of nice improvements. One of them is something that I've been asking for since we've got Toposolids, and that's the ability to copy points. So now what we can do is we can select points on a Toposolid, we can go to copy, and then we can copy them. So we can easily copy points on a single Toposolid, but also if I go here and just reveal or unhide this element, so we have here just a flat Toposolid, what I can do is I can select this one, go to modify sub-elements, select some points, Control C to copy, and then get out of there. Click here, go to modify sub-elements, and then I can paste, so Control V to paste. I can paste those points to this Toposolid. So it's a very nice way of copying points across a single Toposolid or across multiple Toposolids. Moving forward, we have a lot of improvements in terms of subdivisions. So when you select the Toposolid, you have the subdivide option. Now previously, when we do a subdivision like this, I'm just going to create a rectangular subdivision like that. So previously when we used to do this, it could only be kind of added on top. Right now it can be flat, so as you can see it can be a flat subdivision. Of course we can change a different material just like that. So it can be a flat subdivision, it can have a positive value just like this. Again, it's just going to follow the contour of that Toposolid. It can also be a negative subdivision, so -1000, it's going to be like this. So basically you can do whatever you want with it. And again, so this is just a subdivision. We can only edit the sketch. We cannot edit the points. To edit the points, we need to go to the main Toposolid. And as you can see, the points will kind of stay there, and the subdivision is what's making the thing go down or up, or just have a different material. Also, we now have the ability to have multiple overlapping subdivisions. So if I go again to subdivide, go to rectangle, and let's do something like this. There we go. So we can have another one. Let's do a path. So this has a thickness. So there we go. So it looks like a small bridge. So there we go. We can have like a flat one like this. We can also bring it up like that. So it's kind of above the Toposolid, so you can play around with these as much as you want. So as you can see, it's a very powerful tool, and it does work really well. Also, we have additional flexibility in terms of these subdivisions. Now they are a proper category, meaning that if I go, for example, here to the properties, go to visibility graphics overrides and click on edit, I can find let's find Toposolid. There we go, Toposolid. Now subdivisions are basically a subcategory here. So if I uncheck them and hit apply, okay, as you can see, those will now no longer be visible. And then of course I can always go back to VG, go to Toposolid, and then turn those back on. Also, it works with object styles, schedules, and so on. Now, another thing that's important to mention is here, if I bring this up, so this is just a simple topo surface that they brought in from older version of Revit, and it does have this subregion. Now, if I select it and generate a Toposolid from that, what you'll notice is that this will be a subdivision that was generated from here, and we have a completely new type of a Toposolid for that subdivision. And again, we can select it, we can give it a positive or negative offset. Oops. So let's go with 50, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, we can bring it up, down. It just cannot be more than the thickness of this material, which is, I'm guessing, yeah, it's 304 millimeters. So there we go. Those are the changes in terms of the subdivisions and things that you can do to Toposolids. In addition to this, we have enhanced model accuracy when it comes to linking topography in Revit or on the cloud. Also, when it comes to cutting our Toposolids with voids, in a lot of cases that works, but sometimes it simply doesn't. So now here, if I go to Masking and Site, go to Model Site, here we have this topography cut void stability. So what this does is you can enable this, and what it will do is if you're cutting a Toposolid with a void, it's going to only slightly and kind of randomly change that void, and it's not going to be a significant amount, nothing that you can actually see, but with that slight shift, it's going to increase the chances of your cut being successful. So you can enable that over here. Also, the default number of points, it was 10,000 points. So these points, when you go to modify sub-elements, at most we used to have 10,000. Now we have 20,000, and it's also something that we can modify, so we can go up to 50,000 or even more if we want. Just keep in mind that that will then significantly slow down your model. Also, there have been improvements in just displaying Toposolids, so they're going to look a lot smoother now. Now let's take a look at some of the documentation upgrades that we have. So here we have our project 2 model, and let's say that for this railing I would like to use this drafting view, and I have created this detail here, and I want to reference that here on the drawing. So I'm just going to zoom in, I'm going to pick out the section tool, and then here I'm just going to check the reference other view, and I'm just going to pick this drafting view, and then I'm going to place it just like that. Now, something that you'll notice as a new thing here, if I select this section that I've used as reference, the reference label is going to appear here in the instance parameters. So this was previously only available in the type parameters. However, now it's available as an instance parameter, and for the type parameters you do have the default reference label, so you can set a default here, but of course you can always change it instance by instance. And it will also support global parameters. Now let's talk about these label families. You see them in callouts, sections, elevations, reference labels, and so on. So these previously didn't have any shared parameters that they can use. However, now if I just search for one callout, let's go with this callout head, I'm going to right click and edit this family. What you'll notice here is if I select one of the labels and go into edit, you'll see that here I can now go and create an additional parameter. It can be a shared parameter, and yeah, I can just use that now, and this wasn't available in the past. Moving forward to sheet collections. Sheet collections is something that we've got with the previous version of Revit. Now it has been upgraded, so here if I scroll down and go to my schedule quantities, right click and open up a view list, what you'll notice here is that now we do have the sheet collection parameter appearing on the view list. Also, if I were to go to a sheet list, it's also going to have that sheet collection parameter. In addition to this, we also have the sheet height parameter, the scale parameter, and the width parameter, which weren't available in the past. Also, for sheet collections, they now do support custom parameters and global parameters. Moving forward, we also have, for the selecting available fields, we used to have sheets and project information. Now we also have title block parameters, so we can choose from here as well. Now let's move to title block. So if I open up one of my sheets here and select the title block, what you'll notice is if I go to edit type, here we have the scale override parameter. So what we can do is we can set which text will appear if we have multiple different scales on this sheet. And then when we create a sheet schedule, we obviously don't want to report a single scale if we have multiple, so we can use any text that we want over here, like this. However, we cannot use numbers, so only text will be supported. We also have some enhancements when it comes to view positioning on sheets and automated placement. So here, if I select this particular view, what you'll notice is in the properties, if I scroll all the way down, we have view to sheet positioning, and here we have some parameters. Also here on the positioning and view, you will notice that we have the saved position option, we have the view anchor, and also the view. So how does this work? Well, first you need to define your view anchor. It can be your view origin, center, top, left, right, bottom, left, right. So basically you can use any one of these to reference your view anchor. This is basically what that's referring to, and yeah, you can just pick out whatever works best for you. And then here we have the numerical values which you can edit. So if I want this to be 130, for example, hit apply, it's going to move that view, as you can see here. Let's go back to 120, it moved it back. Here we can go to 530, for example, it moved it up a bit too much, so let's go down to 520, there we go. So that's basically how you can move things around, and then you can save that position. For example, let's say this is our floor plan position, and click OK. Now, as you can see, this is all grayed out, and we just have that, that position applied over here. And now let's move to graphics. So the biggest thing, or the biggest change when it comes to graphics, is now Autodesk is moving to, I guess, a different algorithm or a different approach to graphics in terms of their kind of back-end stuff. And what that means for us Revit users is that now we have this accelerated graphics stack preview. So what this means is they're moving through to this new approach to graphics, which will hopefully be a lot quicker. However, it's still not there, so we only have it as kind of a preview that we can use with Revit 2026. However, I've had issues starting it. So if I just click here and try to turn it on, it's going to give me this pop-up message, and when I click OK, nothing really happens. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm using the preview release version to record this video, so hopefully when you're watching this, the full 2026 version is out and this is working on your computer. Perhaps it's just my computer, I'm not really sure. But anyways, so you have this button here, you can move it around if you want. You also have a little drop menu where you can hide this button, you can see the terms of use and so on. You can also access the same setting by simply right-clicking, and here we have the accelerated graphics deck preview, so that's another place where you can see it. It doesn't work just for the 3D views, it's also meant for 2D views, and it might have some issues with thin lines, hatches, things like that, so just keep that in mind. It's still kind of in the preview phase. Also, if you go here to the file menu and go to the options, what you'll notice here under graphics, yeah, so we have the accelerated graphics here, and you can turn off the visibility of this thing here on the screen if you want. Also, it says here activation requirements include hardware acceleration, which, yeah, I do have it on. But yeah, still not working on my computer, so I don't know what the deal is with this, but as soon as I get it working, I will be definitely recording a video and covering this as well. Now, moving forward in terms of graphics and just the general usability of Revit, what you'll notice is that the continuation of moving from the options bar to the ribbon. So what that means is here, if I go to the wall tool, you can see this is the options bar. So this bar over here with all of these settings. And Autodesk is basically moving Revit from having all of these settings here to having them here on the ribbon. So for the walls, they still seem to be there, but for example, if I go to annotate and then go to tag by category, what you'll notice is that all of the options for tagging are here. So all of the placement options are here on the ribbon. Also, if you go, for example, to place a window, the tag on placement is also going to be up here in the ribbon. This is followed by many other things. So for example, for dimensions, if I go to align dimension, the place dimension options are over here on the ribbon, and I really don't like this, but yeah, I guess this is the direction where we're moving. Also on the, let's go to the modify tab, and then here, for example, if I go to rotate and select any element, so yeah, it's here. I don't like this. I really don't like this, but yeah, I guess this is the direction where we're moving. So anyways, so yeah, you're going to notice this for a lot of things. Yeah, I think if I go to mirror, let's try that one. Yeah, it's there. So all of the things that were on the option bar are slowly moving to the ribbon, and if something is not on the option bar, yeah, look for it on the ribbon, I guess. Now, following the theme of changing things that I don't understand why have they been changed, if you select any of the families and go into edit type, here under family category and parameters, this was Omni class number and Omni class title. Now it's changed to classification number and classification title. So if you're confused and looking for Omni class, it's just classification. So that's a difference, I guess. In this last segment of the video, let's talk about the improvements and updates to structure. So for example, for rebar, we have now a more advanced way to do rebar splicing. So that basically means is when you have rebar that extends like this. So for example, here we have a column and the rebar of the bottom column extends into the upper column. However, the rebar from the upper column is now overlapping with this, and usually you wouldn't do it that way. So now what we can do is we can select this bottom rebar and we can go here to the properties panel, and here we have the start bar and end bar options. So here we can add a crank. So here on the start, I'm just going to go with none, and then on the end, I'm going to include a crank, hit apply. So now as you can see, that crank is applied for that proper splicing, and we no longer have that overlap. Now in this case it's on the outside, which we don't want, so I'm just going to rotate this by 180 degrees. There we go. So as you can see, we can just flip it around. Also, it starts way lower here, so I'm just going to search here for crank, and here we can just double click and edit some of the parameters. So just for the length multiplier, I'm just going to make it half as much. Click OK, and as you can see, it's fully customizable. So here we have something that looks a bit more natural. So there we go. This is something that we can now do with rebar. Also, we have these arrows indicating the start and end of bars. So when you have bars, it's nice to know where it's actually starting, where it's ending. So now whenever you select a bar, it's going to show you an arrow showing you the start, and then it goes all the way around, and this is the end. And there we go. Moving on to steel, we have some upgrades when it comes to connections. So when you have a custom connection, if you go to edit, if you select individual elements, you can see that now you can edit them over here inside of a custom connection. This wasn't available previously. Also, if you select any of the items in a custom connection and decide to remove them, Revit will no longer delete that. So when you hit finish, it, oops, did I not do it? Okay, so yeah, Revit will just save it as a separate item. So previously it would just delete it. Now it's still there. It's just not part of that connection that was there previously. Also, there's a big change in how Revit customizes connections, or just kind of default connections. So if I place a beam here in between these two columns, just like this, what you'll notice is it's automatically going to kind of shorten it on both sides to kind of fit the columns. So the beam goes to the center of the column, but it's kind of shortened to fit the column. Now this is fully customizable. So if you go here to structure and open up structural settings, go to structural steel elements. Here we have the option to disable automatic shortening of steel elements during auto join. So when you check this on, click OK, OK. Now, as you can see, it's going to go straight there to the actual connection, and it's not going to be shortened at all. So those are some improvements in terms of steel, and that's going to conclude some of the interesting structural updates, and that's also going to conclude this video where I share all of the most interesting updates and new things that you can find in Revit 2026. Now, as I've mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you're serious about mastering Revit, go to balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to link it up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. Recently, we've become an Autodesk authorized training center, so we have some new offerings in terms of courses and training, so check it out on our website. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.